The whole world watched as the alien ships appeared in the sky. They were smooth and silver like drops of mercury hanging above every major city on Earth. For 3 days, they just stayed there, silent. News channels showed nothing else. Religious leaders called for calm. Armies around the world went on high alert. On the morning of the 4th day, the aliens sent a message. They wanted to talk. They chose Geneva as their meeting place. Jack Harper stood at attention near the landing zone. His uniform was crisp and his mind was focused. As the commander of North America's Space Defense Force, he had trained for alien contact, but he never truly believed it would happen. Next to him stood Dr. Olivia Martinez, who had spent her life studying how different species might communicate. Her hands trembled slightly as she clutched her tablet. "Steady," Jack whispered. "Remember, we represent all of humanity today." Olivia nodded. "I just hope they're friendly." The ship descended with barely a sound. It was larger up close, at least the size of a football field, and it gleamed in the sunlight. A door appeared in its side, melting away rather than sliding open. 3 beings stepped out. The alien in front was tall and thin with 4 arms and skin that shifted colors like an octopus. It wore what looked like flowing robes made of light. Behind it came 2 shorter aliens with rough bark-like skin and eyes that blinked sideways. "I am Ambassador Zierl of the Vespian people," the tall alien said in perfect English. "We speak for the Galactic Confederation, a union of 17 advanced species. We have been watching Earth for some time." Jack stepped forward. "Commander Jack Harper, representing the North American Alliance. This is Dr. Olivia Martinez, our chief language specialist." Zierl's skin rippled blue. "Your language is simple to learn. We have studied all Earth communications for decades. Over the next 3 days, the aliens shared wonders beyond human imagination. They showed videos of vast space cities where billions of beings lived in peace. They displayed technology that could cure most diseases, grow food without soil, and travel between stars in days instead of lifetimes. The Confederation brings planets together," Zierl explained to a room full of Earth's leaders. "We share knowledge, resources, and protection. When we find promising new civilizations, we invite them to join us." Hope spread across Earth. Schools closed so children could watch the historic meetings. Old enemies spoke of new cooperation. Everyone believed humanity was about to enter a golden age. On the final day, Jack and Olivia sat with Zierl in a private meeting room. Outside, crowds gathered, waiting for the good news. "We have evaluated Earth," Zierl said. "We have discussed your civilization at length." Olivia leaned forward. "And?" Zierl's skin turned a dark purple. "The Confederation has decided that humanity is not ready for membership." The words hung in the air like a physical thing. Jack felt his throat tighten. "Not ready?" he repeated. "What does that mean?" "Your species is too aggressive," Zierl said. "Your history shows constant warfare. Your nations still threaten each other with world-ending weapons. You fight over resources that could be shared." "But we're changing," Olivia argued. "Look at our progress in just the last century." Zierl's skin rippled again. "You are also technologically insufficient. Your understanding of physics is primitive. Your computer systems are basic. Your space travel capabilities are in their infancy." Jack stood up. "With respect, Ambassador, your help could fix those problems. Isn't that the point of your confederation?" "We help those who are ready to be helped," Zierl said. "Those who will not bring conflict to our peaceful union." "So what happens now?" Olivia asked quietly. "We will establish an observation post on Mars. We will monitor your progress. In approximately 100 Earth years, we will reconsider your application." Jack couldn't believe what he was hearing. 100 years? As a safety measure, we must insist that human vessels remain within the boundary of your asteroid belt. Any attempt to go beyond will be seen as a threat to Confederation security. "You're containing us," Jack said, his voice hard. "Like animals in a zoo." Zierl stood. "Like children in a playpen, Commander. For your safety and ours. When you mature, the boundaries will be removed. The aliens left the next day. Their ships rose silently into the sky, leaving behind only their Mars base and humanity's crushed hopes. Riots broke out in some cities. Religious groups claimed the aliens were demons. Politicians blamed each other for the rejection. The brief unity of humanity began to crack. Jack found Olivia sitting alone in the empty conference room where the aliens had delivered their verdict. "What do we do now?" she asked. Jack looked out the window at the people below. "We proved them wrong." In the back of the room, a man neither of them had noticed stood up. He was tall with gray hair at his temples and eyes that missed nothing. He had been recording everything on a small device in his hand. "Commander Harper?" "Dr. Martinez, my name is Adrian Reeves. I run a private aerospace company that the government doesn't like to talk about." He walked closer. "I believe I can help with that proving them wrong part." "Who are you exactly?" Jack asked. Adrian smiled. "Someone who doesn't like being told to stay in his place. The aliens want us to sit quietly in our corner of the galaxy for a century. I say we don't. What are you suggesting?" Olivia stood up, suddenly interested. "They showed us enough of their technology during those presentations. Not everything, but enough. I've had my people recording and analyzing every second." Adrian pulled out a small drive. "I think we can reverse engineer some of it. Not all at once, but piece by piece." Jack frowned. "Even if we could, they've forbidden us from going beyond the asteroid belt. They'll be watching." "Then we'll need to be sneaky," Adrian said. "And we'll need help. Official channels won't work. This needs to be off the books." Olivia looked at Jack. "It would be dangerous." "So is sitting here waiting for 100 years while aliens decide if we're worthy," Adrian countered. "They left us out of their club. I say we crash the party anyway." Jack thought about the condescension in Zarl's voice, the easy dismissal of humanity's potential, the cage they'd placed around Earth's future. "What exactly do you need from us?" he asked finally. Adrian's smile grew wider. "First, we need a team, the best minds who aren't afraid to break some rules. Then we need a place to work, somewhere remote." "I know people," Olivia said. "Scientists who won't be missed." "I have access to classified facilities," Jack added, "and personnel who would follow orders without questions." "Good," Adrian said, "because what I'm proposing isn't just building a better rocket. I'm talking about the biggest secret project in human history." He pulled up an image on his device. It showed rough blueprints for something that looked like a spaceship, but unlike any design Jack had ever seen. "They think they've contained us," Adrian said. "They don't understand what humans do when told no." 5 years passed since the aliens told humans to stay in their corner of space. On the surface, the world moved on. Countries went back to their old rivalries. People returned to their daily lives. The alien base on Mars became just another fact of life, like the weather. But deep in the Nevada desert, hidden under sand and rock, something else was happening. Adrian Reeves stood in the center of a massive underground hangar. Around him, 50 people worked at computer stations or moved between different parts of a sleek silver spacecraft. The ship was about the size of a small airplane, but its design was like nothing seen in any human air force. 5 years, Adrian said softly. 5 years of secrets and lies and working in the dark. But we did it. Dr. Eleanor Walsh looked up from her screen. Once, she had been a respected professor at a top university. Now she was officially on sabbatical. But really, she was the brain behind the ship's most important system. "The engine test was successful," she said. "We can achieve faster than light travel using the principles we decoded from the Vespian emissions. They never imagined we could understand their technology so quickly." Captain Nathan Clark walked around the ship with a critical eye. He had been forced out of naval intelligence for his aggressive stance on alien relations. Now he was the commander of this secret mission. "Will it fly?" he asked. "Really fly, I mean, not just in computer tests." Eleanor nodded. "It will fly. The question is, can we hide from their sensors? They monitor everything beyond the asteroid belt." "That's where I come in," said a voice from behind them. Samantha Porter was thin and pale from years working indoors. She had been the best encryption specialist at the NSA before Adrian recruited her. Their detection systems operate on predictable quantum frequencies. We can hide in plain sight. She walked to a control panel and brought up a diagram. The aliens scan space using a system that looks for specific energy signatures. But if we operate slightly out of phase with their scanning technology, we'll be invisible to them. Nathan ran his hand along the ship's smooth hull. And you're sure this will work? No, Samantha admitted. But our simulations show a 92% chance of success. That's better odds than most military operations get. Adrian gathered them all in a circle. Project Defiance is ready. We've named the ship the UES Defiance because that's what it represents. Humanity's defiance against those who would limit us. He looked at the 30 people who would form the crew. Scientists, engineers, former military, all chosen because they were the best and because they shared a vision of humanity among the stars. In 3 weeks we launch, Adrian continued. Our first destination is Proxima Centauri. Our intelligence suggests there's a trading outpost there that operates outside of Confederation control. If we can make contact, establish relations, we prove the aliens wrong about us. Lieutenant Kelly Rodriguez stepped forward. She had been a test pilot before joining the project. Now she would be the one to fly the first human ship to another star. The simulator says the journey will take 12 days at maximum speed, she said. That's with the new drive system. The aliens would take months to reach the same destination. Eleanor smiled. That's because they don't know what we know. They think their technology is special. But human minds took their basic principles and improved them. Adrian looked around at his team. Any questions before we begin final preparations? Greg Cooper, their chief engineer, raised his hand. What about the Mars base? Won't they detect our launch? We've planned for that, Adrian said. We'll launch during a solar flare. The radiation will mask our energy signature until we're far enough away to activate the phase shifter. Nathan checked his watch. We need to run through emergency protocols. One more time. If something goes wrong out there, we'll be on our own. We've been on our own since they decided we weren't good enough, Adrian reminded him. But we've managed. As the crew returned to their tasks, Adrian walked with Eleanor to a quiet corner of the hangar. Are you worried? She asked. Adrian watched the activity around the ship. Yes. We're about to break the biggest rule the aliens gave us. If we fail, they might decide humans are too dangerous to leave alone. And if we succeed, then we change everything. Adrian's eyes were bright with determination. We prove that humanity belongs among the stars, whether they invite us or not. Over the next 3 weeks, the crew of the Defiance worked day and night. They ran simulations, checked systems, and loaded the ship with supplies for a journey no humans had ever made before. Nathan organized his crew into shifts. They would need to be alert at all times, ready for anything they might encounter. We don't know what's out there, he told them during their final briefing. The aliens showed us some things, but they kept most of it secret. We need to be prepared for the unexpected. Kelly spent hours in the flight simulator, practicing the launch sequence over and over. The Defiance would use a hidden vertical shaft to rise from the underground base directly into the sky. Timing would be critical to avoid detection. Samantha fine-tuned her phase-shifting technology, working with Greg to integrate it into the ship's systems. If it failed, the aliens would spot them immediately. Eleanor monitored the alien base on Mars through telescopes and intercepted signals. They follow patterns, she told Adrian. Every 73 hours, they run a full system check that lasts 14 minutes. During that time, their sensors are briefly recalibrated. That's our window, Adrian realized. The night before launch, the crew gathered for a final meal together. The mood was a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to make history, but they were also about to put themselves in terrible danger. I have something for each of you, Adrian said, passing out small metal pins. They were shaped like Earth, with a single star rising above it. A reminder of why we're doing this. Nathan stood up, looking at each person around the table. Tomorrow we take humanity's first step into the wider galaxy. Not because aliens gave us permission, but because we decided our destiny for ourselves. He raised his glass. To the defiance and to defying those who would hold us back. The crew drank the toast. Some looked confident, others nervous. But all of them felt the weight of what they were about to do. As they finished their meal, an alarm sounded from the control room. Eleanor rushed to check it. "Solar flare activity is increasing," she called back. "Bigger than we expected. It's perfect cover, but we need to move our timeline up." Adrian made a quick decision. "Prepare for launch. We go in 6 hours." The room erupted into activity. The moment they had worked toward for 5 years had suddenly arrived. "They told us to stay in our corner of the galaxy," Kelly said as she headed for the ship. "They're about to learn that humans don't take orders from anyone." The launch was smoother than anyone expected. As the solar flare washed over Mars, temporarily blinding the alien sensors, the UES Defiance rose from its hidden base. Within minutes, it was beyond Earth's atmosphere. Within an hour, it had passed the moon. By the time the aliens on Mars could see clearly again, the human ship was already accelerating toward the edge of the solar system. Inside the Defiance, the crew strapped into their seats as Lieutenant Kelly Rodriguez guided the ship past the asteroid belt, the boundary the aliens had set for humanity. "We're crossing the line," Kelly announced. "The great big do not cross sign the aliens put in space." Captain Nathan Clark nodded. "Activate the phase shifter." Samantha Porter pressed a sequence of buttons on her console. A low hum filled the YAO ship as her invention came to life. "Phase shifter active," she reported. "We're now invisible to Confederation sensors. As far as they're concerned, we don't exist." Dr. Eleanor Walsh monitored the alien base through the ship's sensors. "No signs of alarm, no pursuit, they haven't spotted us." For the first time since the mission began, Nathan allowed himself to relax slightly. "Good job, everyone, but we're just getting started. Lieutenant Rodriguez, take us to light speed when ready." Kelly's hands moved confidently over the controls. "Preparing for faster-than-light jump in 3, 2, 1. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines, then vanished completely as the Defiance entered lightspeed. A cheer went up from the crew. Humans had never traveled faster than light before. They had just made history. 12 days to Proxima Centauri, Kelly said. Longer than a plane ride, shorter than an old sailing ship crossing the ocean. The crew settled into their routines as the ship hurtled through space. They worked in shifts, monitoring systems, studying the star charts the aliens had shown during their brief visit to Earth, and preparing for whatever they might find at their destination. Eleanor spent hours with Adrian Reeves in the ship's lab, fine-tuning their sensors to detect alien technology. Greg Cooper constantly checked the engine systems, making small adjustments to increase efficiency. "The aliens would be shocked to see what we've done with their basic ideas," Greg said proudly. "They thought we were primitives, but we've already improved on their designs." On the 10th day of the journey, Peter Montgomery, their communications officer, called the crew to the bridge. "I'm picking up signals," he reported. "Definitely artificial, definitely not human." Eleanor studied the data. "It's coming from Proxima Centauri, multiple sources, various frequencies. I'd say we're approaching a busy place." "Time to see if all our preparations paid off," Nathan said. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, take us out of lightspeed at the edge of the system. We'll approach slowly." 2 days later, the Defiance dropped back into normal space at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Through the viewports, they could see the red dwarf star glowing in the distance. But what caught everyone's attention was the massive structure orbiting the system's second planet. "That's the trading station," Adrian said, his voice filled with awe. "It's huge, bigger than anything humans have ever built." The station was shaped like a wheel with spokes connecting to a central hub. Lights glittered across its surface, and small ships moved around it like busy insects. "Movement," Samantha warned. "2 vessels changing course to intercept us." "Security. Patrol," Nathan guessed. "Keep the phase shifter running. Let's get closer before we reveal ourselves." Kelly guided the Defiance toward the station, keeping a safe distance from the patrol ships. They couldn't see the human vessel, but they seemed to sense something was wrong. They moved back and forth across the Defiance's path, searching. They know something's here, Eleanor said. They just can't see us. Nathan made a decision. We came to make contact, not to hide forever. Let's say hello. Mr. Montgomery, prepare to receive transmissions. Ms. Porter, deactivate the phase shifter on my mark. The crew looked nervous but determined. This was the moment they had traveled across the stars for. 3, 2, 1, mark. Samantha switched off the phase shifter. Instantly, the Defiance became visible to the patrol ships. They reacted immediately, accelerating toward the human vessel with weapons ready. We're being hailed, Peter reported. On screen, Nathan ordered. The main view screen came to life, showing a reptilian alien with shimmering scales and vertical pupils. It spoke in a series of clicks and whistles that the ship's translator processed. Unidentified vessel, this is Security Chief Kraz of Outpost Nexus. Your ship configuration is unknown. State your origin and purpose immediately. Nathan stood tall. This is Captain Nathan Clark of the United Earthship Defiance. We are traders from Earth, seeking to establish commercial relations. There was a long pause. The alien's eyes widened. Earth? The prohibited world? Confederation embargo prohibits contact with your species. Your presence here violates multiple regulations. Nathan smiled calmly. We're not bound by Confederation rules. We come in peace, seeking fair trade and information exchange. The alien seemed confused. Impossible. Humans lack faster-than-light technology. You cannot be here. Yet, here we are, Adrian said, stepping forward to stand beside Nathan. Perhaps the Confederation was wrong about humanity's capabilities. The security vessels moved closer, weapons charged. Your ship will be impounded, Kraz declared. You will be detained until Confederation authorities arrive. Kelly looked at Nathan. Captain? Orders? Nathan considered their options. They couldn't outfight 2 security vessels, but running would mean failure. We didn't come all this way to be arrested, he said. Then to the alien. Before you make a decision you might regret, consider this. We managed to build this ship and travel here despite the Confederation's restrictions. We did what they said was impossible. Perhaps we're worth talking to rather than imprisoning. Kraz seemed to consider this. The Vespians said humans were primitive. Your presence here suggests deception. The Vespians told you many things about us, Eleanor said. We're here to tell our own story. Another voice spoke from off-screen, and Kraz turned away briefly. When he faced them again, his manner had changed. Station Manager Lorne wishes to speak with you directly. This is unusual. The screen changed to show another alien, this one with 4 arms and pale blue skin. Captain Clark, I am Lorne, manager of Outpost Nexus. Your arrival is most unexpected and, I must say, intriguing. The Confederation rarely misjudges a species so completely. Nathan nodded respectfully. We'd be happy to meet with you and correct the record. Very well. You may dock at Bay 12 under escort. No weapons. If you truly come in peace, you will be treated accordingly. The screen went dark. Is this a trap? Samantha asked. Possibly, Nathan admitted. But it's also an opportunity. Lieutenant Rodriguez, take us in. Everyone else, remember your training. We're about to become the first humans to meet alien species on their turf, not ours. The Defiance moved slowly toward the massive station, flanked by the security vessels. The crew watched in amazement as they approached the docking bay. They could see dozens of different ships, shapes, and designs they had never imagined. They told us to stay home, Adrian said quietly. They thought they could keep us in our corner of the galaxy. Nathan nodded. They were wrong. The docking bay of Outpost Nexus was huge, filled with ships of all shapes and sizes. As the UES Defiance settled into its assigned spot, the crew gathered near the airlock. Captain Nathan Clark looked at his people, feeling proud and nervous. At the same time, remember, we're here to make friends, not enemies, he told them. We need allies, information, and maybe some trade deals. Stay alert but friendly. Adrian Reeves checked the small translator devices they had created based on the alien technology shown during the brief visit to Earth. These should help us understand whatever languages we encounter. The Confederation might have 17 official species, but from what we gathered, there are hundreds more out here. The airlock door opened with a hiss. Outside stood the station manager, Lorne, along with 4 security guards. The aliens looked at the humans with a mix of caution and curiosity. "Welcome to Outpost Nexus," Lorne said, his 4 arms moving in what might have been a formal greeting. "This is most irregular. The Confederation has clear rules about contact with restricted species." Nathan stepped forward. "We're grateful for your welcome. As you can see, we've chosen to make our own rules." Lorne's eyes blinked slowly. "So it seems. Follow me. There are many who wish to meet the humans who defied the Vespians." They walked through the station, drawing stares from dozens of alien species. Some looked almost human, while others were completely different from anything on Earth. The station itself was a marvel of technology. Smooth walls that seemed to glow from within, doors that opened without a sound, and strange plants growing in what appeared to be zero gravity. "The Vespians told everyone that humans were primitive," Lorne explained as they walked. "They said you were violent, divided, and at least a century away from developing proper space travel." "They underestimated us," Eleanor said. "So it seems." Lorne led them into a large room with a round table. Several aliens of different species were already seated there. "These are representatives from non-Confederation worlds and groups. Like you, they have reasons to operate outside official channels." Over the next few hours, the humans met beings from worlds they had never heard of. There was Kella, an Arcturian with skin like blue crystal who spoke for something called the Resistance. There was Drax, a furry creature with 6 eyes who captained a trading vessel. There was Morrow, a being made mostly of gas contained in a special suit, who analyzed data for various clients. "The Confederation is not what it appears," Kella told them. "The Vespians control most of it. They use the other species, pretending to be equal partners while keeping the best technology for themselves. The Vespians fear competition," Drax added. "When they find a promising new species, they either invite them in as junior partners or they contain them, as they did with you." Nathan leaned forward. "Why did they really restrict us to our solar system? Was it really about our aggressive tendencies?" Morrow made a sound like gas escaping a valve. "Partially, but mostly because humans learn too quickly. The Vespians observed how fast you advanced from primitive flight to space travel. They projected that without containment, humans would achieve faster-than-light travel within 50 years. They preferred to delay that." "They were too late," Greg Cooper said with pride. "We did it in 5. The alien seemed impressed. "Your ship," Kella said. "It uses principles the Vespians claim only they fully understand. How did you manage it?" Adrian smiled. "We watched. We learned. We improved." This caused a stir among the aliens. Lorne's 4 arms moved in an agitated pattern. "Improved? Impossible. Our engines are more efficient than what was described in the Confederation presentations," Eleanor explained. "We took their basic ideas and found better ways to implement them." The news spread quickly through the station. More aliens came to meet the humans who had not only broken the Confederation's restrictions, but had improved upon Vespian technology. Some were curious, others cautious, a few seemed almost excited. One alien, a small green being named Ziv, approached Peter Montgomery at the end of the meeting. "There are others," Ziv whispered. "Other worlds who chafe under Vespian control. 5 systems who might welcome alternative alliances." Peter brought this information to Nathan and Adrian. "Ziv gave me coordinates, 5 worlds willing to meet. With us possibly form partnerships." Adrian looked at the data. "This is exactly what we hoped for. Allies, knowledge, a foot in the door of galactic society. We should move quickly," Nathan said. "Once the Confederation learns we're here, they'll send ships to find us." "Too late," Samantha said, rushing into the room. Our sensors just detected 3 Confederation patrol vessels entering the system. Someone sent a message. Nathan wasn't surprised. It was always a risk. How long do we have? Maybe 6 hours before they reach the station. Nathan looked at Adrian. We got what we came for. Proof that there are others out there willing to work with us and coordinates for potential allies. Now we need to leave before we're caught. They made their goodbyes quickly. Kella, the Arcturian, stopped them before they left. What you've done changes everything, she said. The Vespians told the galaxy that humans were primitive savages. Your arrival proves their deception. We will spread the truth. Back aboard the Defiance, the crew prepared for departure. Kelly plotted a course to the first set of coordinates Ziv had provided. The Confederation ships will be looking for us, Samantha warned. The phase shifter will help, but they'll be watching more carefully now. Nathan nodded. We'll have to be careful, but we've come too far to turn back. The Defiance slipped away from the station just as alarms began to sound. The Confederation patrol had ordered all ships to remain docked for inspection. But by then, the human vessel was already accelerating toward the edge of the system, its phase shifter making it nearly invisible. Over the next 18 months, the UES Defiance visited each of the 5 worlds on Ziv's list. On each planet, they found beings who were tired of Vespian control and eager to meet the humans who had defied Confederation restrictions. On Lyra 4, a world of brilliant engineers who had been forced to work as technical servants to the Confederation, Greg Cooper helped local scientists enhance the Defiance's weapon systems. Your approach is different from anything we've seen, said the Lyran chief scientist. You solve problems in ways the Vespians would never consider. On the ocean planet, Nautica, Eleanor established a medical exchange program. Human biology was different from any the Nautican healers had studied, and human medical techniques offered new insights. With each successful visit, word spread through hidden channels about the humans who had broken free of Confederation control. Back on Earth, 3 more ships were secretly built and launched, using the improved design sent back by the Defiance. The breaking point came when one of these ships, the UES Pioneer, was captured near the Tau Ceti system. A Confederation battlecruiser caught it by surprise, disabled its engines, and took the crew prisoner. Nathan received the news while the Defiance was docked at a hidden base on the moon of a gas giant. They've taken our people to a detention facility on Rigel 7, he told the crew. According to our allies, it's a Vespian military installation. A rescue mission would be nearly impossible, Samantha said. Vespian security is the best in the Confederation. Adrian looked at the data. But not perfect. We've improved our phase shifter since we left Earth. With some adjustments, we might be able to get close enough. Nathan made the decision. We can't leave our people in Vespian hands. They'll be studied, interrogated, and we need to show our new allies that humans don't abandon their own. The rescue mission was planned carefully. The Defiance would approach Rigel 7 under complete stealth. A small team would infiltrate the facility, find the captured crew, and bring them back. As they prepared to leave their safe harbor, a message arrived from Earth. The Confederation had discovered the secret space program and issued an ultimatum. Cease all interstellar activities or face containment measures. They're threatening Earth, Eleanor said, her voice tight with anger. Nathan looked at his crew. Then we'd better hurry. The rescue mission to Rigel 7 was dangerous but successful. Using their improved phase shifter technology, the Defiance managed to approach the Vespian detention facility undetected. Nathan led a small team inside while Kelly kept the ship, ready for a quick escape. They found the crew of the Pioneer in holding cells deep within the facility. The Vespians had been interrogating them, trying to understand how humans had advanced so quickly. During the escape, a guard spotted them. In the firefight that followed, Dr. Eleanor Walsh was hit by an energy weapon, and Lieutenant Frank Butler gave his life covering their retreat. As the Defiance fled Vespian space with the rescued crew, Eleanor fought for her life in the medical bay. Adrian sat beside her, his face grim. "Did we get everyone out?" she asked weakly. "Yes," Adrian assured her. "Thanks to you. Your modified scanner helped us find them quickly." Eleanor tried to smile. Humans are good at improving things. The ship received an urgent message from their allies on Lyra 4. The Vespians had discovered the full extent of human space activity and were gathering a fleet. Their destination? Earth. They're not coming to talk, Nathan said, studying the information. They're coming to make an example of us. Adrian looked at the star map showing the Vespian fleet's position. We need to reach Earth first, with all our allies. The Defiant sent messages to every world and group they had contacted over the past 18 months. The response was immediate. Ships from 11 different species began moving toward Earth, united by their desire to stand against Vespian control. When the Defiants emerged from lightspeed at the edge of the solar system, they were leading a coalition fleet of 27 vessels. But what they found shocked them. A Confederation blockade had already surrounded Earth. They moved faster than we expected, Samantha said, scanning the enemy ships. Peter monitored communications from Earth. The Confederation is demanding Earth surrender. They want all our spacecraft technology handed over or they'll impose sanctions. What kind of sanctions? Nathan asked. The bad kind, Peter replied grimly. Cutting off sunlight to major cities. Triggering weather events. They're threatening millions of lives. Adrian joined Nathan at the command station. Earth governments are stalling. They know we're coming, but they can't hold out forever. Nathan studied the enemy fleet through the view screen. We're outnumbered, but we have surprise on our side. And something else. Our allies hate the Vespians as much as we do. The coalition fleet split into 3 battle groups. The ships from Arcturus and Lyra would engage the main Confederation forces, drawing them away from Earth. The Nautican vessels would protect Earth itself, and the Defiants would lead a small strike team directly to the Vespian command ship. We need to show both Earth and the Confederation what humanity and our allies can do together, Adrian told the combined fleet commanders. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for all species who want freedom from Vespian control. The battle erupted across the solar system. The Arcturian ships, quick and nimble, darted between the larger Confederation vessels, causing confusion. The Lyran fleet targeted the Confederation's communications, cutting off their coordination. Meanwhile, Kelly executed a daring maneuver, bringing the Defiance alongside the massive Vespian command ship. We're in position, she reported. But their shields are still up. Greg Cooper had been working with the Lyran engineers to modify the Defiance's weapons. The new disruptors should work. 1 shot to create a small opening, then we go in fast. The disruptor fired, creating a momentary hole in the Vespian shields. Nathan led the boarding party, fighting their way through the alien vessel to reach the command center. They used the ship's own internal transport system to move quickly, surprising the Vespian security teams. On the command deck, they found Ambassador Zyril, the same Vespian who had rejected Earth years before. His color-changing skin flickered with shock when the humans burst in. Impossible, Zyril gasped. You cannot be here. That's humanity's specialty, Nathan replied, doing the impossible when someone says we can't. While Nathan's team secured, the command deck Eleanor, still weak from her injury, worked with Samantha to access the Vespian communication system. They had discovered something during the rescue mission on Rigel 7th. Evidence that the Vespians had deliberately lied about human potential to the rest of the Confederation. We're broadcasting now, Samantha announced. Every ship in the Confederation fleet is receiving this data. The evidence was damning. Internal Vespian reports showing that they had recognized humanity's potential for rapid advancement and had contained Earth not because humans were dangerous, but because they might soon become equals or even rivals. The effect was immediate. 3 Confederation capital ships stopped firing on the coalition fleet. Their captains, members of species long treated as junior partners by the Vespians, refused to continue fighting based on Vespian deception. Outside Earth's atmosphere, the battle turned. Earth's own defensive forces, inspired by the arrival of human-led allies, joined the fight. The Confederation fleet, facing unexpected resistance and internal division, began to falter. Adrian established direct communication with Earth's leaders. Humanity wasn't ready to join their confederation, he declared as the alien allies appeared on the screen beside him. So we built our own. The Vespian attempt to make an example of Earth had backfired completely. Instead of crushing human defiance, they had sparked a rebellion within their own ranks. Ship by ship, the Confederation forces either withdrew or switched sides. In the aftermath, Ambassador Zyril was held as a prisoner, while representatives from Earth met with the coalition species. The Confederation splintered, with many worlds withdrawing to form a new interstellar alliance, one that welcomed Earth as a founding member. 1 month later, the crew of the Defiance gathered on the observation deck of the new space station, being built in Earth orbit. Below them, their home planet glowed blue against the blackness of space. Ships from a dozen alien worlds moved around them, bringing materials and technology freely shared among the new alliance. Eleanor, now recovered from her wounds, stood with Adrian and Nathan. "We lost good people to get here," she said softly, thinking of Frank Butler and others who had fallen. "They gave their lives so humanity could take its rightful place among the stars," Nathan replied. "Not as juniors or servants, but as equals." Kelly joined them, looking out at the ships. "Remember what Zyril said when the Vespians left Earth? That we were like children in a playpen?" Nathan nodded. "They thought a simple boundary would contain us. They left us out," Adrian said. "We came anyway. And we brought the fight," Eleanor added. "No," Kelly said, watching as an Arcturian ship docked alongside a human vessel. "We brought something better. We brought unity, on our terms." Below them, the first official diplomatic vessels from Earth were launching to meet representatives of 20 alien worlds. News broadcasts were showing celebrations in cities across the planet. Children pointed at the sky, knowing it was no longer off limits. The Vespians had tried to keep humanity confined to one small corner of the galaxy. Instead, they had pushed humans to reach further, go faster, and think more creatively than ever before. They had feared human potential, and in trying to contain it, they had unleashed it. As Nathan watched the activity around Earth, he thought about how it had all started, with aliens telling humans they weren't good enough to join the galactic community. "Maybe we should thank the Vespians someday," he said with a small smile. Adrian looked surprised. "Thank them? For what?" "For underestimating us," Nathan replied. "It's always a mistake to tell humans they can't do something," Kelly laughed, "especially when that something is reaching for the stars."